Sorry. Okay. Can you hear me? A little bit lower. It's on? Okay. There is a Redeemer. Actually, Ethan should have played that song because he learned it. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I see this song in my stand, so why don't I play that? This is my father's world. Okay. It's another beautiful one. This is a medley, actually. This is my father's world, and he got the whole world in his hand. It's a medley. Okay, this next song, I forgot to announce it, is This Is My Father's World, and he got the whole world in his hand. So this is a medley that I'm going to do with piano and trumpet, so I hope you enjoy that. No, I know I like playing. I probably will play a lot. But this morning, I know there were a lot of things that I said that I probably will share that I did not share this morning. I can tell a bit recap on some of them. Actually, some people asked me a question after I spoke this morning, whether how did I get to United States or something like that. So I did came to United States in a cultural exchange program, and Thank you. So some of you asked me question this morning. So how did I came to the United States? I did come to the United States to a cultural exchange program that I was not supposed to be part of. Again, this is the same concept that if you trust God, God always have a way to make things work for you in a way that you don't know. Again, remember that things that we don't understand or in our extremity that give God an opportunity to do things amazingly. For me, that was another things that happened because honestly, as I explained this morning, there's no way I could make it to the U.S. or even have a scholarship. In fact, when I talked to some of my friends back home that I was going to have a scholarship, although I didn't know how, and I'm going to start studying music in the United States, they laugh. But as I said this morning, for me, things work differently because I have like a kind of unwritten code with God. So I know if I do my part, He loves me too much to not do His part. And that's the way I understood it, and it always worked for me, and I always have faith in that. So when I came to the U.S., although I did not have any family in the United States, but God opened doors for me that I never believed that could be open. Well, I did believe that could be open, but for some people, it is impossible. I did receive a full scholarship at Michigan State after an audition. And this morning I told you that sometimes God's worked things in a different way because technically I should not have been accepted at Penn State because I did not audition for the position. I was offered because I was trying to fight with God, not going to music, as I said, because I faced too many issues in my undergrad. We're getting music, we're getting the Sabbath, and I said, I'm done. I applied at Andrews. I said, I'm going to study theology. And until, actually, the university, Michigan State, how I can remember, was saying, they keep emailing me regarding my master's to stay at the school. By March, I received so many emails from them, I told them take my name off the system so they know that I will not come back for music. When I said that, I started to feel guilty, and I said, maybe I make a mistake. I said, why didn't I pray about this before I decide? And I let that door open. I said, Lord, if you want me to do something else, show it to me. Now, someone called me probably the same week asking me what was my plan. And I said, well, I really don't know. And he said, why don't you call Penn State regarding this? Because I think there's an assistantship open. And I said, well, there's nothing to lose. So I call. And the guy asked me for my number, and then they email me every day asking me if I apply. So I said, I'm not going to be in front blocking God's blessing. I'm going to apply, but I am not going to audition because I didn't want to. What God did, even if I did not audition, God basically opened a door for me. They offered me a teaching assistant position without any audition. They gave me like a free school plus a stipend. At that time, I did not even want to sign to accept the scholarship or this teaching assistant position because in my mind, there must be something wrong because there's no way I can do music as a Seventh-day Adventist. But again, as I explained this morning, it seems to me God sometimes uses you in a secular world to be a witness. There are people that will know about God's truth because of you. That God could only use you to do so. As I said, that people who never knew about the Sabbath when I was at Michigan State, and some of them even come and study the Bible with me, which was not really allowed as faculty. They basically sit down and discuss the Sabbath with me and open the Bible, everything. At Penn State, that was almost the same thing. So I said, I'm not going to sign yet, but I have a deadline. I said, well, I can always back out, but I'm going to sign to meet the deadline. So I received the letter before I go to London to record like a commercial in London. And that commercial, again, that's another story because when they offered me to come to London to record for the commercial, not 1 week before I traveled to London, I realized that the recording session is on Sabbath. And I did not want to go at first because that same weekend was my graduation at Michigan State. And I said, well, maybe this is a sign for me. I should not go. But I told them in front, I said, I can't do it because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I keep the Sabbath. And the lady said, well, it is kind of impossible. This is the only time we could find at Abbey Road Studio. And I said, okay, but I can't do it because I will not be able to make it because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. And they said, well, they told me that they're going to talk to the producer to see if there's anything they could do. Now, this is a very good gig. I have to let you know. Some those gigs, it was like a multi-million-dollar project. And they not only pay your fare, and then they give you pocket money, and then they pay you anything that you do. Even trying the dress for the shooting, you get paid for that. You rehearse, you get paid. It is a pretty good deal. He was sponsored by Channel 4 in London. And I said, well, I can't do it. In my mind, I said, well, this is probably a sign for me from God. But God thinks differently. For a few days, I think that was on Tuesday, and I'm supposed to travel on Thursday. Tuesday, I received a call from them. They said, well, we talked to the producer. They decide they understand your situation. They will have you record first, and then everybody will record on you. You don't have to do it on Sabbath. You can do it on Friday. So I did go there, for that performance. But when I came back, Penn State was still in my mind. I traveled to Pennsylvania. I went to Penn State, and I said, well, maybe they don't understand my situation because I really don't want to go to the same problems that I went to when I was at Michigan State. And I went to the admission. I told them in front, I said, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. Do we have rehearsals or performances on Sabbath or on Saturday or Friday night? And then they told me that, yes, we do, but we can work with you. And I said, well, I think they don't understand. Let me talk to the conductor because they are a musician. They probably understand the situation better. That was a way for me because I honestly did not want to go in music because of problem. Now, I need to also explain why it was very difficult for me. In my undergrad, when I was a freshman, I was like a fair good player. So to make it to the orchestra, you have to be really good because in my program, in the trumpet studio alone, we have 8 doctoral students. So I was freshman, sophomore. The chance for you to make it in a blind audition to make it to the orchestra is slim. But I did make it to the orchestra. So when I make it to the orchestra, it feels painful to know that you cannot play in the orchestra just because of your belief. And they have to kick you out and then put you on the lower band. Students could not understand it. And for me, I cried several days because of that situation. First, the reason I cry is because I know that I'm basically blocking opportunities. The second reason is like you like to be challenged to play in a good group. It's fun in it, but I ask myself, so what's the point? If I'm doing it now, what's the point for next year? What's the point for another year? Because they will not change that philosophy for me. And when I was done, so I was like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm not gonna do it again. So I was trying to avoid that situation when I was at Penn State. So I went to the conductor. I said the same thing. They said it's pretty challenging because I will be the principal player for the orchestra as a teaching assistant. So they will need me to be there. But he said they can work it out. I said, well, Lord, I think give me another shot. I'm going to talk to the person who signed my assistantship, which was the trumpet professor. He told me not to back out. But when you face the situation, when the first week of rehearsal, I saw that I have a dress rehearsal on Sabbath. And I said, oh, I can't do that. And I told my trumpet professor, I said, well, this is the issue. I have that issue. And he said, well, Carlo, I understand, but there's no way because maybe you're going to lose your scholarship or your teaching assistant position. And I said, well, that's fine. But he told me to talk to all the faculties because I'm going to have to deal with them with that, and to also talk to the conductor. And for me, I think, when I think about it, those are opportunities that God gave me because I stay firm that I will not break the Sabbath. So with that, I had the opportunity to not only send a letter explaining what the Sabbath is, how you keep the Sabbath, and then why do you keep the Sabbath, to all the faculty members that I was going to work with. And also, I told them as a follow up, I will meet with them to explain in person. And they can tell me, ask me questions if they have. And that was a great opportunity. So God opened those doors for me. And I think this morning I may have explained a little bit about even me at MU was very challenging for me because I work with a marching band that has football game every Sabbath. And just to say that when you stay faithful to God, I mean, it can be seen as a sign of weakness or as if you're gonna lose opportunity. But I can tell you, even on my undergrad, when I was an undergraduate, I have more opportunity to play than all of my classmates, and they could not even professors could not even believe it. Actually, the trumpet professor said, "Well, how do you get all those gigs?" I have gigs, all over the country, even outside of the country. God really bless you. Sometimes God will put you in position to be a witness, and with your witness, He will be able to bring light to other people. And I think it's something that I learned for myself, even if sometimes it may be challenging. Sometimes God put you in a situation that you don't know what's coming, and for me, that's usually the case. But if I rely on faith and I trust God, He always do something beyond my understanding. I can take a few examples, like even Mizzou, for example. I remember the first time I told them that I cannot do anything on Saturday. I think for some reason it was seen as being a joke in some ways. I'm going to explain why. Because after I said that a week before, and then the week later when I came to Mizzou, they scheduled me a lot of things on Saturday. And that stressed me out because I feel like, okay, maybe if I don't do it, I'm going to get kicked out or I'm going to lose the opportunity. But I stressed the entire week. But I could not really bear the thought that knowing something is wrong and then forget that the Sabbath, I need to keep the Sabbath, and then put it away and then just jump in and then do things as everybody else. And I know there are some people who have done those, but for me, it was not an easy choice. And I said, well, even if I'm stressed this entire week, this is it. The Lord, I'm going to email them saying that I am not going to show up because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. Now, they met with me and asked me to explain what the Sabbath was and how do you keep it. Because some of them, they say, well, honestly, it's not because we want to put you on the spot, but we don't know what that is. Now, can you imagine someone who never heard about the Sabbath for the first time? They heard about it. What if I choose not to keep the Sabbath? I will not have that opportunity. Now, this is not only one opportunity for the faculties, but it was also opportunity for the students, because some of the students start to research about what the Sabbath was, because I was the only one not showing up. And then they heard it's because of my faith and my observance of the Sabbath. Some of them end up watching 3ABN because of that, because they end up finding some of my stuff, one of my interview in 3ABN, and they watch that and then start asking me questions about the Sabbath. So staying faithful to God will give opportunity to be a witness. I don't want to talk too much because I know I can talk forever. Why don't I play some more music? Actually, why don't I invite Ethan to play with me? Ethan is my student, trumpet student, and I always enjoy playing with him. So I put him in the spot today. I called him. I said, well, you need to come and play that. And then he said, yes, I can play this. So to tell you the truth, we basically I was not even playing with him. I was singing my part, and so I'm grateful that he's willing to do that with me. So thank you, Ethan. We're going to be over there? Is that right? Which one do you want to play first? Technically, we could have put someone in the spot to sing with us, but we decided not to do that because it's a hymn, but has some trumpet variation. It's usually sang with choir in unison and trumpet and organ, but we're gonna do with trumpet Yes, the next song I'm going to play, I forgot to say that in the microphone. It's Jesus Shall Reign. It's a hymn that has a lot of trumpet variations, so I hope you enjoy. It's different than this one, but hope you enjoy. This is the Lord's Prayer. One more song. I don't know if it is the last or before last. I don't want to forget. I think we have. It's Motherless Child, is that right? Great is the Lord. Oh, we have plenty. Let's do Motherless Child. This song it's really significant to me, and although the word might be different, usually when I'm thinking about that song, I think about my mother, and my mother is no longer around, but her situation was tragic in many ways. I know that my mother raised me and my older brother as a single mom. And if I can be who I am today, I believe it is because of God and also because of her. And in many ways, I remember things that I can remember as earliest that I can remember was my mother basically praying with me every day, morning and evening, and also try to help me memorize Bible verses. And those things were significant for me because those type of things helped me to trust God. And even if people did not believe that I could do things as I was growing up, but when I remember those Bible verses, when I remember how my mom told me that nothing's impossible with God, that helped me to overcome a lot of things. Even playing the trumpet, really, because knowing that God can help me to overcome anything in my life, And I still believe those things till today, that if I want something, especially if it is good for me, I need to trust God and I have to do my part. And if it is God's will, and believe it or not, sometimes things that you will not believe, if you have that type of friendship with God, when you ask God, God will basically make it happen for you in an amazing way. Sometimes He doesn't answer my prayers right away, but when things doesn't happen for me right away, I just wait because I know that something better is coming. I mean, I can give you a few examples. Scholarship, studying music. When I first wanted to study music, in fact, uh, I was supposed to come to the United States beforehand, but with not something as better as what I have right now. And doors did not open, and I did not know why. So I decided to make a different pact with God. I said, Lord, I know there's something we always do. When I do my part, you always do yours. Maybe because I'm not ready. So okay, I said, but I'm going to try this. I'm going to practice my trumpet. I'm going to be the best that I can, better than anyone that I know that are around me. And then you should open that door. And fair enough, God did open the door. And honestly, I did not share this morning. When I came to the U.S. with no family, I basically come to a country where you have no one. Basically, you come to fail, basically. If you don't have a place to go, if you don't have food, you cannot work, you're basically going to fail. But God had a plan for me. When I came here, God opened doors for me. I had a full scholarship at Michigan State. Not only that, God put people in my path. Actually, that was last week or 2 weeks ago. Some of you probably know who Wynton Marsalis is. Some of you know. Yes. Actually, Wynton Marsalis basically helped pay for my women board at Michigan State University. We have been friends since. And I had that type of connection that God put people in my path that opened doors for me, and to the point that I'm always shocked on how things work. And that was also one of the reasons that I believe that I was at different campuses for a reason. One of the reasons, again, that I believe that I cannot mess up because God has my back. I have to represent Him well wherever I go. And I think as Christian, we need to always think about those things whenever we go somewhere. Sometimes it's easy to forget where we come from, where God took us from. And that's one thing that always remind myself. Don't ever forget where your blessing come from. Because for me, I remember that my blessing come from God. And whenever I feel like I could mess up or I could think differently, I remember, okay, sometimes, even for my own pleasure, I take time to remind myself where I come from. I mean, some of you, if I say I come from a very poor family, some of you may not have an idea. Because really, for education was a luxury. Because if you don't have money, you can't go to school. Food, I mean, you don't have a steady job, you cannot really be sure for food. I trusted God with my future. I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm the only one in my entire family. I mean, we are six. My parents have 6 children. I'm the only one who not only finished high school, but has 2 college degrees. I have like a undergrad, master's. Now I'm finishing a PhD in May. And I do believe that if it was not by God's grace, there's no way that I could have made it. God bless me in many other ways. Like I said this morning, sometimes, when you're thinking about things, you don't know what God's want for you. I trusted God. And I back out. Sometimes when you feel something that you consider as failure is a blessing. Really, there's many things in my life I consider as a failure. But when I think about it, I say, well, really, that's a blessing. Because God knows better than I do. So, but even sometimes people think about those things, even in relationship. I mean, you don't know what God has for you. Sometimes you feel like this is that man, this is that woman, this is that man, or this is that woman that you need for your life, and God knows better. I mean, trust Him. He has been in this business for more than we know, more than 6,000 years. So He knows what He's doing. So I'm grateful for my mother. I have to stop talking because I keep talking. So I'm going to play that song. It's a very significant song for me. When I think about this, I think about how great God placed, how wonderful God placed someone that can really teach me about God's word and to help me to understand or to trust God with anything, even if we did not have money, but we have something that was better than money, which was faith in God. Because to faith in someone that can give you everything. So, motherless child. Oh, Amazing Grace. That's Amazing Grace. I know we have to stop soon, right? Oh, Kristen, you're the boss. Sorry. Oh, actually, let me explain that because I promised that I was. Let me explain this. I said that a lot of things that I learned in trumpet, really, I said that I have to give God the credit. You remember I said that this morning. And some of the things that I said that I learned, I really was not taught that. Like something like circular breathing. And I said I need to explain that for some of you to know what is it really. And take other technique in the trumpet too. Circular breathing is basically playing at the same time you're breathing. You're blowing, but at the same time you're breathing. So you can hold a note for a long period of time. Um, I should probably demonstrate it. Do you want me to demonstrate a little bit? Okay. So I'm going to play something. and then all those little details. I mean, sometimes we want to be grateful for big things, but I think a lot of people can do it. I remember, how did that happen actually? Let me share a little bit. I remember I tried to do it on my own. I try, and I could never do it. And I remember I pray about it and I let it go. Out of the blue, one day, the thought came to mind, take the trumpet and try. And I said, well, I've been trying this for a while, but I could not do it. It seems like I'm going to waste my time. But as if I heard a voice, take the trumpet and try it. And I take the trumpet and try it. I've been doing it since with no problem. And that's how that happened to me. So I really grateful for God's really blessing on playing the trumpet. That's one of the reasons. If no matter what, if there's any reason for me to quit, to not understand God, I have to just count my blessing, and it bring me back the same place that I was. So always count your blessing. That's a good trick that I learned, so that I remember how God has been good to me. That always work with the thing for me when I remember what God has done for me, how He has helped me in the past. That always bring me back to trust God in everything, even if I don't know how things gonna work out. So the piece is called Amazing Grace. So I do believe in God's grace. So I hope you enjoy. So I start. Yeah, I do have what we call like CD, but I feel like not playing a song from the CD might be. Actually, I did play Praise the Lord. Although I would like to stay for long, but I think it is kind of time. Is that right? Yeah. Well, actually, I forgot even to bring my CD in. But they're in the car. But we can still do that. So, who's doing closing prayer? Or say it. Okay. Or should I play the last song? One more? Okay. What would you suggest? Great is the Lord. Great is the Lord. Okay. Amen. Great is the Lord. I don't know this. Where is our Redeemer? There. No, it's in the other. Yes, in the other car. It's a. Michelle, you don't give me the box for the CD? Oh yeah, it's probably in the trunk. Shoebox. Yeah. Great is the Lord. Yeah, I think that's it. I find it.
What a rich blessing, amen. Carlo, thank you so much for coming. We're going to have you again soon. Well, let's pray to close the Sabbath. Dear Lord in heaven, we want to thank you so much for the blessings that you've given us this evening through music and from Carlo sharing his testimony with us. We've been very blessed, and we want to ask as we start this new week that you would continue to be with us, and we pray all of these things in your name. Amen. Thank you so much. And you have some CDs, right? Yeah. Okay. Tell us a little bit about those.
Oh, well, this CD actually was, I was asked to record this doing camp meeting in Michigan, because each time I play, people always say, well, do you have a CD? And I say, I don't have one. And I remember as I said, that costs money too. Someone come to me, actually, give me $1,000. I said, when you get it, then give me a copy. And that's how I made the CD. But really, the music that I chose for the CD is like a very smooth and soft for praying, a lot of them. For example, most of the song, besides Crown Him with Many Crown, this is another song that we have in there that I arranged. It's like a themes and variation. And you have Till So Sweet with a medley. We have Till So Sweet, My Jesus, I Love Thee, I Surrender All. And with a very smooth way, the Lord's Prayer is in there. And This Is My Father's World. Some nice arrangement that I did with me and one of my friends. And Sweet Hour of Prayer, which is very nice too. Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. So from Till So Sweet to Trust in Jesus, My Jesus, I Love Thee. Technically, for me personally, I use them even after I record them. I can really calm and meditate on them. Sweet Hour of Prayer, Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. There's a Quiet Place, the version that I played here. And O Lord Most Holy, or people call that Panis Angelicus. A Sacred Head Now Wounded, Nearer Still Nearer. God of Our Fathers. Some of the Adventist friends probably love that one for trumpet. And I create a lot of different variation, like themes and variation in that. Actually, I recorded in piano, but I wrote it for organ and piano, but it's still going to be good. And Great Is Thy Faithfulness, How Great Thou Art. That's a medley together. So those are the songs that are in this. Hope you will enjoy.
I hope you brought enough for everybody.
Oh, I don't know if I brought enough, but if you need some more, let me know. That's the last that I have. I haven't been ordered in a while. So if you get this one, I'm not going